Welcome to Section 2. This is where we open the building code and learn to actually work with it. And we are going to begin where the code is kindest to a newcomer with Part 9. Part 9 carries the name Housing and Small Buildings, and it is the right place to plant your feet before we step into the larger, busier world of Part 3. Honestly, start with the big picture. Part 9 is the simpler cousin, but do not mistake simpler for lightweight. It cares about every single thing a building has to get right. Getting people out safely, holding back fire, decent washrooms, the quality of the rooms people live and work in, even the openings in the walls. All of it is in here. The difference is in the dial settings, not the subjects. The fire ratings tend to sit a little lower. The exiting rules ask a bit less of you. So once you are comfortable in Part 9, you have quietly met most of the ideas that come back tougher and fussier over in Part 3. Treat this whole topic as your warm-up for the rest of the section. Now, to the question that has to come first on any project, and it is not the one most people reach for. The question is not how big is it, the question is what is it for. Part 9 only takes on certain occupancies. Group C, which is residential. Group D, business and personal services. Your offices. Group E, mercantile, the shops. Group F, Divisions 2 and 3, the medium and low hazard industrial. And, added in the 2020 code, Group B Division 4, the home type care occupancies, a small home setting where care is provided to no more than 10 residents. Okay, so that is the entire guest list. There is a table that spells it out, and the rule it sets is blunt. If your occupancy is not on that table, you are not in Part 9. There is no negotiating it. You close this part and you go and work in Part 3 instead. We want to push on that because it trips people up. It is the occupancy that decides kind of not the footprint. You can have a tiny thing, a kiosk really, and if it carries an occupancy that is not on the list, that little building is out of Part 9 no matter how small it is. Size does not rescue it. So when a question lands in front of you, your very first move is to read the use and ask yourself, does this even belong here? Look, one small habit that pays off all the way through the section. The definitions in the code are shared. A mezzanine means the same thing in Part 9 as it does in Part 3. A public corridor, a suite, an exit, they each carry one meaning across the whole book. So the vocabulary you build here is not throwaway. You are learning the language of the entire code, which is a big part of why Part 9 makes such a good place to start. There is one more flavor of Part 9 worth knowing from the very beginning, because it explains a lot of what is coming. Part 9 is often used by people who are not design professionals, homeowners, trades, folks building their own place, sometimes for the first time. Because of that, the code leans more prescriptive here than it does in Part 3. It spells things out in detail. It tells you the sizes, the spacings, the thicknesses, because it cannot assume there is an architect standing over the work making judgment calls. So you will notice Part 9 handing you very specific numbers for very small things, and that is the reason why. Honestly, it is filling in for the professional who may not be there. Happily for you, that detail often makes the answers easier to pin down. So here is where we have landed. Part 9 is housing and small buildings. Look, it addresses all the same concerns as the rest of the code, just with gentler numbers. It applies only to a fixed set of occupancies. And occupancy, not size, is what lets you in the door. And because non-professionals lean on it, it tends to be detailed and prescriptive. Next time, we take on the part of Part 9 that quietly sinks more code evaluations than anything else, counting stories. It sounds like the easiest thing in the world until a mezzanine gets involved.